Welcome to Promote, Profit, Publish. I'm your host, Juliette Clark, and I am solo today. Very rarely do I do solo episodes because I enjoy talking to people and our guests. But I decided there's a very important topic that I do want to talk about today. So before I get started, I want to remind you guys about our monthly trainings. The one coming up is Jackie Lapin, and she's going to be talking about time-saving shortcuts to get yourself booked on podcasts to talk about your books. And I know this year we've had a lot of trainings on podcasting. And the reason is because that's the new wave of media. TV hits are short. You don't get to say much about the book. These long form interviews that most podcasters are doing are a great way for people to find out more about your book and about you. And at the end of the day, if somebody's hiring a nonfiction author for a coaching gig or whatever it may be, they're going to want to know you. They're going to want to know all about you. So you can sign up for that. It's on November 7th at vamagtraining.com. So the big topic I want to talk about today is several months ago, one of my partners, Gary McDermott, created a program with me called the Super Brand Audience Accelerator. And since we've launched this, we have a lot of coaches using it. And we also have some big corporations that have bought in that I'm super excited about. They're having us run for their clients so that, they're able to help them a little bit better, align their marketing a little bit better. So I want to talk about it again and why this is an important tool for authors. The first thing that I want to say about it is a lot of times when we start writing a book, we sort of know who our audience is, but we're not writing the right things for them. And I don't mean that as far as a book. I mean it as far as what is the social media we're putting out there? What is the content we're putting out there? For me, when we ran this report the first time, it put a whole new spin on the articles we were writing for the newsletter, just a completely different way of titling things and writing about different topics that other people weren't writing about in their blogs. So I want to go over a little bit about what we do with it. The Super Brand Audience Accelerator, you can find it at superbrandaudienceaccelerator.com, is something that every author should pull, spend the money, and go through it before they write their book. It literally covers who your author avatar is. It gets really deep into, your authority, how you want to build your legacy. It defines the demographics. Many people don't hit when they help you form your message. They don't hit the psychographics. It also looks into the behaviors and pain points and buying triggers. So why is all this so important? A lot of times when new authors or new entrepreneurs look into pain points, they don't really know the difference between pain points and benefits. And there are differences there. So this really lays out what are the actual pain points. And so far, when we go over these reports with people, they either go, oh my gosh, I didn't know, I'm missing things, or they say that is right on. And I know it's right on because that's what I'm doing right now. So we get really great results from understanding deeply what those pain points are. The other part of that is the buying triggers. Nobody ever thinks about the buying triggers except people from advertising, because we used to know, or we do know, what triggers people to buy. What are those emotional responses and how do we hit those in our copy? So both of those are very, very important pieces that you should have before you go forward. And what I love about the report is it's not only goes through those stages of where your marketing should be, it also addresses core motivators. So emotional triggers, financial recognition and needs, legacies and long-term goals. So these are all really big pieces of your avatar puzzle that you need to know for everything you're doing. And even if you're not writing a book, this is a big help for your business. If your marketing is not hitting the mark, this is a way to really tighten it up and do better with it. So the other part of this report is messaging frameworks in it. It really takes your core value proposition and moves it from just a book launch into building a sustained thought leadership and business opportunity. And that really goes to crafting your message, your elevator and extended elevator pitches. So, that 1 minute pitch that's there, and also that longer one when you have 2 or 3 minutes to tell someone what you do. It also hits pieces that people forget all the time, those emotional, fear, authority, and social proof hooks. So if you have all of those and you know which motivates your audience the most, you can expand on that and really start writing social media posts that hit, start writing articles that hit. So I don't particularly like it when you hit the fear quotient on there, but all marketing is emotional. People buy because you've hit something emotional inside of them. And just having that authority and those social proof hooks as well is really, really important, because that's how you grab that audience and bring them in. So it really shows you how to take your message and anticipate and answer specific objections. So I'm going to assume that many book writers, authors who are in the nonfiction space are also coaches. And if you're a coach, more than likely you're closing your own deals. The more you know about those hooks and about those specific objections and how to overcome them, the more sales you're going to be able to close. So all of this does come together. It brings your book together with your business as well. Now, the other part of this report that I love so much is that author journey by awareness stage. What we see over and over is that the platform is not built, the book comes out, and it goes nowhere. You launch your bestseller campaign, some people that you know buy it, maybe some other people do, and then sales just go right off the cliff. And people don't understand the reason for that is because they didn't build the platform and because they don't understand the marketing around it. So I'm going to take you through some areas where this report will be really helpful for you. So when we structure this, we start out with the unaware phase. And what that means is we're showing you the existing gaps between your authority and where you're sitting and where your competitors are at. And this is really important because you can see why that guy who sells, 500,000 books, how he got there compared to the audience that you have. And by the way, I don't know many people who've actually sold 500,000 books, but I just threw that out there. But even 1,000 books, it's a huge difference since the average indie author sells 200 books. So understanding that gap and where you need to fill it is really important. And that's why I actually call the unaware, nobody knows you're alive. And that's important in building your platform, because when you start out, you have to keep that in mind. If you've ever done serious advertising with Google or Facebook or any of those, the person that's doing your advertising will tell you this will take 3 to 6 months to get it going because we have to do this testing. That's your unaware stage. Now imagine you just released your book and you're in the unaware stage. How slowly do you think that's going to be? Your book's going to be obsolete by the time you get through all the marketing phases. If you start 12 to 18 months out in advance of that book being released, you have a much better chance of moving from that nobody knows you're alive stage into the other stages of marketing. So let's say you've done all your work, you're 3 to 4 months in to the unaware stage, and now you're starting the problem aware stage. This is where you can actually reveal why DIY or, sporadic things fail. Because if you're doing it yourself, chances are your copy's probably not good, so your marketing's not hitting. You've perhaps done your own DIY website, which I can spot a DIY website within seconds. I can tell that you wrote your copy because most of you think copywriting is cute. It's not. So you've done cute things with words instead of emotional things with words. I can also tell from the layout. Maybe you've done a DIY newsletter and you can tell it's DIY. So in that problem aware stage, before you hit it, get professional help with that messaging. Get some professional copywriting done. That way, and also one more thing, be consistent. One of the things I see is people start this process and then they say, oh, I don't have time to write a blog this week. Oh, I don't have time to record a podcast this week. Consistency is the key. that content that you're building in that problem-aware state is your trust builder and it's your authority builder. It's telling people without telling them. So the old writer's conundrum, show versus tell. You're showing them that you have the skill. You're showing them what the problem is. You're showing them that you have the solution. So all of that is tied up in that second phase, that problem aware. Now, from there, you're going to move into your solution aware state. And this is where you're going to compare approaches. So, you might have a DIY where I'm going to direct you. You might have something like a group program. You might have something that's a one-on-one program. But overall, you're showing people that that product aware state, their problem aware state that you had before, you have the solutions, and probably the solutions that no one has. So this is an important stage as well. And you don't get to it on day one. So many marketing people that I've seen out there helping people, they don't even go to the unaware stage. They go straight to problem solution. And that's great. But if nobody knows who you are, they're not going to find that their problem is there and that the solution is available for them either. So you're kind of doing it in a backwards way. And after that problem solution phase, that 1-2 punch, then you go into the product awareness. What do I have that solves this problem? So you can see if we've already released this book, first of all, you have to get people to look at you, and that's going to take a while. Then you have to say, hey, this book has a problem that you have. That's going to take a little bit. And then you have to say, I have the solution in this book. That's going to take a while. And now I have more products to sell. I have the book to sell you. I have a coaching program to sell you. So you can kind of see why it's important to start on the 12 to 18 months at the front end of this book, because by that time, you've already made them aware of who you are, what the problem is, what the solution is, and now you're introducing the product that will solve all those problems. And for those most aware people, which is where you're going to go after that book, that's where you start selling those bigger ticket items. It's not as easy as people think it is to sell a $30 book, but a lot of times it's a lot easier than selling a $5,000, $10,000, $15,000 program because people don't know you. Again, people go from, I'm going to be a coach to nobody knows I'm alive. So how am I going to sell this? So, during this whole phase, you're going to be assigning content types, delivery methods, what calls to action you want to happen at each stage. So, if nobody's aware you're alive, they're not seeing you. Maybe you get into that problem stage and that solution stage, and that's where your lead magnet is. That's where people start seeing that you're telling them about the problem and, hey, download this, 5 series of videos, or download this ebook that's going to give you some instant gratification solutions. It's not going to be long term. But if you can give something in those pieces, somebody something that they can make an improvement right away, they're going to follow you more because what you gave them worked. So that's stage 4 of what this report gives you. Stage 5 is your multi-channel book marketing strategy. And this is really important because it's going to go from where are you at? Where should you be marketing? So many people are on Facebook and Instagram and these other places. Most of my clients, nonfiction authors, are on LinkedIn. LinkedIn is where the money's at. So, okay, what's that LinkedIn strategy? Are we going to do webinars? Are we going to have partnerships? Speaking, SEO and blogs? Are we going to podcast? Do we have paid ads? Do we have email marketing? What does our YouTube channel look like? All of those things you have to look at because those are your content pillars. And again, content is your trust factor. So you need a platform building strategy. You need author success and testimonials, stories. You need book marketing and publishing industry insights. I am shocked sometimes how little people know about the publishing industry, and I probably should not be at all shocked, because if I were an engineer, I would have no reason to learn about publishing. I work in the industry, so I know about it. But I can see how people that are outside the industry that are writing nonfiction books would know nothing about the industry. And it is a very complicated industry. Anybody who tells you it isn't probably doesn't have a good grasp on the system either. There's a lot with returns and royalties and distribution and all of those things that you really need to be aware of. Authority building tactics. This is where you really have to be able to build your authority. Is that 12 to 18 months in advance? So, what are the lead magnets that align and nurture the strategies during all of those awareness phases? You need to know that as well. I'll tell you, one of the biggest things I used to see, I don't see it as much now, is people doing webinars. And they'll do a webinar on a topic, but they'll give away an old lead magnet, and it really doesn't align. The audiences are sharper than ever before, because they're more aware of what's going on in the digital world. So your whole platform needs to be in alignment. People can hone in on what doesn't feel right away. Your brain has about 3 seconds to decide, oh, it doesn't look good. That's colors. It's messaging. It's everything put together, which is why I recommend that the first time you do this, you hire a professional. I did, and it helped a lot. Number 6 in this report is conversion and client retention systems. So, mapping that author journey from awareness to post-purchase. What are you going to do as a sales process? Is it going to be educational? Is it nurturing? Are you going to send out a proposal? Because most nonfiction authors have a second part to that. They know they're not going to make money or a lot of money from that book. That book is a nurture tool. It's getting those people from the book into that bigger ticket item. Are you good at objection handling? I remember in my days in real estate, you would not believe how many times I had to go to sessions where I had to overcome objections, especially when you're working with sellers and you're getting listing agreements assigned. It's no different in the business I have now. Now, I tend to be someone who's not really a hard sell. So I don't really have to handle a lot of objections. I think when it comes to working with me, you're either my kind of person or you're not. So I have a much more simplistic version. And that may mean I'm leaving money on the table, but I rarely do try to overcome those objections because a lot of times I feel like it's a mindset issue on their part, not on mine. Onboarding. What does that client experience look like? The same with your book. What does it look like when someone comes in and they just, they don't have a good client experience. Maybe your book didn't download when they needed it to, and from your website. Maybe your funnel didn't work. That leaves a lasting impression. And then lastly, one of the things I really key in on that you guys rarely look at is now you've implemented all this. Are you looking at the analytics? Are you seeing what's working? Marketing is a guess until it's not. So if you're not hitting the right metrics, you have to go back and reformat. You have to go back and tweak. I know a lot of people come to me and they'll say, I had this funnel build and it's not working. We're just going to scrap it. You don't need to scrap it a lot of times. Many times it is as simple as a tweak here and there. It's change a word or two, change a line or two in the copy, change the image, change the color. It can be just as simple as that. And then inflammation road mapping. You know what? As you're going through this, take the quick wins, LinkedIn authority, lead magnets, webinars, case studies, partnerships, midterm projects. Look at your content hub, podcasting, YouTube, advanced client experience system, and long range. What is your thought leadership positioning? Look at your service portfolio evaluation. Look at how you can expand in the market. All of these are things, and I know this is a book podcast, but for the most part, it's books and business combined. So you have to think long term. When you publish that book, you have to go back that 12 to 18 months and think about what are those goals? What am I going to do this whole time? The business experience doesn't stop with the book. It expands with the book. So how are you going to expand that as well? So I encourage you guys, go over and grab this report. It's $497. And we do offer a consultation with it to go over it with you, compare to how you're doing now. But I suggest that everybody who's thinking about writing a book, please take the time to do this. You will be amazed at how the roadmap will help you map out your book experience, incorporating it into your business, and what's next. All right. See you guys next week.